DJ Lagway has the potential to become the best quarterback in the SEC this season. Owner, editor, and publisher of GatorbaitMedia.com and host of the Buddy Martin Show podcast, Buddy Martin joins the show to preview Florida's 2025 season with DJ Lagway starting at quarterback. In the second half of the show, Alcorn State coach Leroy Frederick joins the show as well. Discuss Teddy Bridgewater being suspended from Miami Northwestern, DeSean Jackson visiting Coach Prime, and so much more. All this and more here on the other side. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live.
Bailey Price Media. I like it.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live. Got a very, very special show for you today. So if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. We already got people in the chat. Rio, shout out to you, my man tuning in. We're coming over if you were just watching 0 to 60 with Matt McChesney and I. If you're just coming over, I appreciate you tuning in. Got a very, very special show for you. We got a very special guest for you as well. Owner, editor, and publisher of GatorbaitMedia.com, host of the Buddy Martin Show. My man Buddy Martin is joining the show. We're going to preview Florida's 2025 season and so much more. Let's go ahead and bring in our special guest, our main man, Buddy Martin, joins the show. Buddy, happy Tuesday. I can't thank you enough for joining. How you doing?
Hi, Bailey. How you doing? Hope our audio is working okay. Nice to see you. And, yeah, it's a gorgeous day out there here on the Bay in Panama City where I reside. And looking forward to football. One eye cast toward the television and what's happening in SEC Media Days. And the football talk is underway.
Absolutely. You sound great. I appreciate you joining and tuning in. I'm glad it's a beautiful day down there. And let's get into it. And let's start in previewing Florida's 2025 season with DJ Lagway stepping in as he has a full offseason to become and work for Florida's starting quarterback position. I wanted to get your take. How are you feeling about DJ Lagway going into the season? I have a lot of expectations for him. I really believe he has the potential to become the best quarterback in the SEC. Florida's got a tough schedule, though, but I have a lot of expectations, and I'm really high on DJ Lagway. Buddy, how are you feeling about DJ Lagway as we begin to preview Florida in 2025?
I feel very good about him. I think he's one of the most outstanding young quarterbacks I've ever seen. I was able to identify that last year early on, and when I told my friends about it, they went, come on, man. It's way too early. And I saw enough to convince me before he began the run at the end there to say this guy's got something special. Not only does he have this skill set, ability to pass the football, understands what he's doing out there, and has a terrific touch and arm. He also is a great, I didn't know this at the time, team builder. He has personally recruited a number of players to come to Florida and influenced them to come there because of him. And boy, are they glad that they did. And if you look at the evidence, you can't see it now because many of them are on this wide receiver squad. It's a wide receiver room like you wouldn't believe. Wait till you see the speed and talent they've got. A lot of people don't know about them yet, but they are really special. So get the ball to these guys in open space and watch them run. I think Billy Napier is licking his chops about that. I don't want to hear again, well, he might get hurt. You know what? Every quarterback is subject to that. They can all get hurt. Arch Manning, who arguably is the greatest quarterback on the planet, according to what they're saying in Texas. And let's just say I haven't seen it yet, but I do have high expectations for this young man. I just say that the guy that DJ Lagway has the goods. He's proven it. He's a motivator. He's a leader. He is going to be okay physically, and I think he will win them some games. Now, having said that, we know the obstacles, Bailey. Naturally, it's unbelievably tough, difficult schedule they've got again. But, hey, what's the old Ric Flair saying? To be the best, you got to beat the best. Well, if you beat these teams, you're going to be up there. So opportunity exists there as well. And I like this squad a lot. I'm really high on DJ Lagway. If you haven't seen him, you're in for a treat.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think what we saw from Lagway last season as a true freshman. I mean, one, it put him on the map, but I mean, it proved a lot. I think that game at Tennessee was probably the biggest revealer to me. It really showed a lot, and it really is the backer behind my expectations going into this season for Lagway, who I expect to really take the SEC by storm. Now, they do have a tough schedule, which we'll break down here in a sec, but I wanted to ask you about Florida's running back room here. You guys got two solid tailbacks here, and I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling about Florida's running back room? Obviously, you got Jacoby Jackson here, Jaden Ball as well, but how are you feeling about Florida's running back room going into 2025?
I am a huge Jaden Ball fan, and I'm not jumped on his bandwagon. I started his bandwagon. After last year in the spring game, I couldn't believe this big guy, fast, elusive, hard hitter. And I thought, who is 13? Because you don't get to see him that much, and especially in the running game in spring games. And I asked my good friends about it that had been on the sideline, one of them being Shane Matthews, who, of course, is a host of his show, the Put Up with Matthews show in the morning, and the color analyst for the University of Florida. And he said, well, he looks okay, but I don't think he's got that much size. I said, Shane, who you looking at, buddy? Well, I stood next to him on the sideline. He was about 5'10". Shane, you better look again. He's 6'2" or 6'1", 238 pounds. He runs and cuts and catches, and this guy can be a major factor on the field in terms of the running game. And I don't make all projections to come true, but I nailed these two. DJ Lagway, who I predicted would be great, and I don't use that word ever, would be great for Florida and Florida's program, and Jaden Ball, who I thought was just going to be a stud. And so far, I'm right on those two.
Damn. Okay, so that makes me really, really excited for Florida's run game. Now, let's stick on the run game and go to the offensive line here. Now, I'm really curious to hear your insight on the offensive line. You got two seniors who I expect to kind of lead the way here and kind of be the leaders in your offensive line room. But how do you feel about the offensive line in Florida's run game in 2025 or headed into 2025?
One of the best in the league, Jake Slaughter, who's from my hometown of Ocala, has been just extraordinary. He is the highest grading center in college football, and he's been consistently that now since he's been there. He's smart. He has a chance to win the Grand Slam for offensive lineman. He's already All-American once. He's going to be All-American twice. I get those trophies mixed up, the Outland Award and all that stuff. I think some can go offense, some for defense. But I think the center is the ones, the Remington Award for the best center. He's bound to win 2 or 3 of those and become one of the most decorated offensive linemen in Florida football history. Smart. He is a true treasure for the offensive line. Rob Sale is very, and they're pretty happy about that offensive. Austin Barber is getting a lot of run at left tackle, and a guy that people think is becoming a pro prospect and be a high draft choice. So let's see. That is a question, but this whole get this. Billy Napier's offense is his run game. He believes you have to run the ball to pass the ball. He believes in the theory that if you run it, you can pass it, and you'll see some of the traces of the of Lagway being involved, but he's not going to run it much. And this whole thing is built around the idea of to run the football so he can pass it, and that's what he does.
Absolutely. And let's go from the run game to the pass game, so to speak. I got to go to the receiver position because you guys got two studs at wide receiver who I want to ask you about here. Let's start here. Dallas Wilson and Eugene Wilson. Let's start with Dallas Wilson. Your expectations for Dallas Wilson going into 2025?
Huge. You got two guys who can fly.
Yeah.
They're going to be the most famous since what was that famous Tom Hanks movie with the ball named Wilson on the aisle stranded there. His name was Will. These guys really can fly, both of them, and I don't even know yet how good they're going to be. I know I'm just blowing orange and blue smoke here, But I mean, I'm excited about these guys. The Wilson guys are extraordinary. They're really good, both speedy and again, they are really fast. So I could go down the list with you of the room, but they are loaded top to bottom in receiver. And they also like to throw the tight end a lot, and they got some good ones there. So let's just say I think
Hayden Hansen, yep.
If you go through the whole check all the boxes, Florida certainly checks off the boxes, the offensive lineman. They've got the offensive line if they hold up and not injured. That's true of everybody. You mentioned a couple. There are others, but and the running back room they're all studs. Wide receiver room, offensively, they are really good. And I think that brings the next question is how good are they on defense? That's what we want to see.
Let's go to the defense. We'll go to the defense. Defense line highlighted by Tyreek Sapp and several others as well. Moving back, Miles Graham at the linebacker position going back. Defensively, you guys got several defensive backs I'm looking forward to. How are you feeling about Florida's defense going into 2025? I think that's the key to Florida's success, in my opinion. Go ahead.
It's going to be pretty good, Betty. Think about this. If they could just get 2 or 3 stops a game.
Yeah.
Look at the games they could have won last year.
Right.
They couldn't get a stop until late in the season. And I feel good about them. You mentioned a couple of guys there. I can't go through the roster man for man in the secondary, but I know
Tyreek Sapp.
Because Sapp is the best. He's the highest rated edge rusher in the SEC in preseason. He's really thought highly of, and they can bring pressure. Their front seven is vastly improved. Let's see, who did you mention? Who else did you mention?
You also got. I was going to ask you about the linebacker position. A lot of expectations for Miles Graham.
The linebacker room is the most underrated room of anybody in the SEC. They are
really.
Their linebackers are really good. I'm telling you.
How do you feel about Miles Graham?
I love Miles Graham. Of course, I love the fact that he's got a legacy there. Ernest, his father, saw him play. Miles Graham is an athlete. He got in right away and mixed it up and played like a veteran. And so they really got athletes in there. And I know I sound like I'm getting to award Florida the national championship, but I understand what they're facing is one of maybe the toughest schedule of football. But these athletes have developed. Billy's brought his system around. I think what it just depends on how they execute it. If they can continue, if they can not make mistakes of having too many men on the field and drop balls or whatever. I think this team is more alert, brighter, better coached all the way around, and they've been together now for a while. I think Billy's got the squad he wants, the players he wants, the coaches he wants, and the places. Now let's see if the plan of execution works, and I think it will.
Absolutely. And I have one more question on the defensive side of the ball. So I cover the Colorado Buffaloes, and former Colorado corner who's now with you guys, Cormani McClain, obviously was a 5-star kid. Dion landed him at Colorado. I want to say didn't take care of business on the field and off the field, and he ends up with Florida, works his way up. I think he has a massive season ahead. I've heard nothing but good things in the offseason about him. What are your expectations for Cormani McClain in 2025?
Well, first of all, I've covered the Buffaloes myself, and I lived in them for quite some time. The Denver Post, I saw when they were horrible, and they're going in the right direction. It was fun to watch them win their share of the national championship, and certainly Dion's got the program turned around in the right way. This kid, the reports I'm getting from practice, you don't get to go much. They don't let us in. But that I've gotten is that the Cormani McClain has a brand new body.
Really?
And yes, he's a brand new body. He's been a workout warrior. We know he's had speed and the tools. He was a 5-star coming in. And Billy took him on the squad, Billy Bates, without scholarship. He had to come on without a scholarship after he had his unfortunate start. And skill level and what he's got for the tools, they say he might be the second fastest guy on the team out there. So defense, so he's getting a lot of run. And again, sounding like I'm predicting they're going to win the national championship, but there's a lot to be interested in for this Florida football team, and Cormani McClain is going to play a part in it.
Wow, that makes me really happy to hear because I saw him, I saw him putting on weight in the offseason. I heard the, news coming out from the Florida strength coach. He had put on 20 pounds. He's running 20 miles an hour and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, Cormani, like it sounds like he's really, taking care of business, doing the right things. And man, I expect him to really have an impact for the Gators on defense.
Yeah, right,
man. Buddy, I can't thank you enough for joining. I wanted to ask you. We've said it multiple times. Let's go ahead and let's break it down here. Florida's 2025 schedule here. So I wanted to, it's interesting, kind of up and down, opens. I mean, it's kind of a gauntlet to open, so to speak. Here, I wanted to get your perspective and kind of break it down. Let's start at that LSU game. Really, the first kind of test, in my opinion. How are you feeling about that game and the schedule as a whole? Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I have obviously Long Island should be a breeze. They'll win the second game, South Florida, whatever. They've got the scorched earth Saturdays for the next 4 Saturdays. I mean, they are, if they can come out of that alive, even 2-2, they will be good because they've got, I mean, think about it. They got to play in Baton Rouge. And I think they can beat them. I think
I agree. I think
he's really the best, most experienced quarterback coming back. And we know all about what they're trying. They had been down. They expect more out there at Baton Rouge. Not getting it. So I'm saying if you can get that, and then Miami is a game. Everybody makes a big deal out of this, but I'm not that. I mean, they're not in the conference. Okay, you're playing in Miami. Okay, I think they win that game.
I think they can beat Miami too. Yeah,
they got Texas coming to the Swamp. And it's the first time Texas has ever come to the Swamp, but not the first time Texas has come to Gainesville. Because it came apparently, and I wasn't there then, in 1940 when there was no swamp.
Right.
They played. But this is Texas coming to the Swamp on that date is the biggest game I think we might have ever at Florida, especially if they win the game. And Shane Mathis and I were talking about this morning on his show. We think there's a chance they could do that, win that game. And now they got to go after that to Texas A&M. So they got the 2 Texas schools to split at least, no worse than split. And if they get through that with 2 wins and they get down to halfway, then they got the teams that they got to beat, which is of course Georgia and Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State, etc. Tennessee a little different place. So I think they're looking at, you want to ask me probably what I expect. I'm picking them to be, I'm 8.5 on the wins right now. Can't quite get it to 9, but I think after we start the season, I might be able to. 9 wins gets them in the playoff. They need to be in the playoff.
Definitely. And I really like where you're at here. You and I are kind of in a similar fold here. There are some teams on here that people might come off as intimidating, but I think are going to be down. I think LSU might not be as good as people might think. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about Brian Kelly. It's just I'm not
a Brian Kelly fan at all.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sold on Brian Kelly either. So I got to see it to believe with them. I think Florida's definitely in there. Miami, Carson Beck, paying him a lot of money. I just previewed their team last week. I'm kind of iffy on them. I think they could be. I think that's definitely a winnable game for Florida. Texas, I think, is going to be legit. Tennessee, I think, definitely could be down. I think I like
that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get Nico was not great, but I think the Aguilar kid, if you watched him last year, I think he's a step down from Nico in a way. And losing a quarterback that late in the offseason it's tough. It's tough. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Florida to get to 8 wins. I mean, what's their win total? I think 6.5 off the top of my head. I think they definitely eclipsed that, but yeah. I'm really optimistic for the Gators. And I really, last thing I'll say is, I'm really optimistic on DJ Lagway. I titled the show, I think he has the potential to become the best quarterback in the SEC. And I love hearing your perspective, buddy, on DJ Lagway as well.
Well, I did a little work before you got me on. I just went through the names. And of course, they're all with the players with the quarterbacks, but the guy they love, of course, is Manning. And I can see why. He's a special player, not only with his name and his heritage, but his skill set. He is quite the player.
Yeah.
The name you're hearing a lot about, is the guy Mateer of Washington State.
Yeah.
They're all talking about Mateer being the real thing. I know that Shane likes him. I got to see more of him before I know. But the odds I looked up. Let's see what it was. Which one it was? BetMGM has odds at 2,500. Arch Manning of Texas is 650. Garrett Nussmeier we talked about is 750. Cade Klubnik, and a lot of people talking about him, is 850. Clemson, the top favorites. But the guy they're still talking about, I got to go with Nussmeier, and I got to go with Nussmeier, and I got to go with Manning, and I got to go with my man DJ, and then not necessarily in that order. So I saw the other day, everybody's got a different ranking. I can't put Manning up there till I see more. I think he'll probably go up there and be there. But I'm telling you, Lagway is as good as any of them. And Nussmeier's got to prove he's not throwing interceptions, which he did a lot last year. And Florida sacked him 8 times. Man, 8 times. 8 times. Most teams don't have 8 sacks in a season. They sacked this guy 8 times. Now, they of course claim they've upgraded their offensive line, and maybe they have, but they still got to prove they can protect the guy, and we'll see what happens there. So I'll take my chances with DJ Lagway.
Absolutely. John Mateer over Oklahoma. He's got his OC coming over as well. Ben Arbuckle. They got the transfer running back Jaden Ott. I've previewed them. This is a huge season. Brent Venables got a lot of pressure on him. So does Lincoln Riley over at USC. I think they got a lot of pressure on them as head coaches. I had Rodney Anderson, former Oklahoma running back, on the show breaking it down as well. I think that Jaden Ott is big for them. I think they have the potential, have a good season, but they have a tough schedule, kind of like Florida does. One more quarterback I wanted to ask you about. Lenore Sellers over at South Carolina. How do you feel about South Carolina? Because I really think they could be a sleeper in the SEC, in my opinion.
I don't think they're sleeping anymore because people are picking them a lot.
Yeah.
I don't see them as a top team. I don't see them as a 9 or 10 win season. I know their coach is talking it up pretty big, and the South Carolina people are. But the people I've talked with and kind of seem to know feel like he's exaggerating his team just a little bit. Lenore Sellers is a spectacular quarterback. He can make plays. I don't know if it's true or not. He was offered $8 million to leave. I don't know that. That's he's certainly a skilled player. But let's see who they got on defense and what they can do. I'm not sold on South Carolina.
How about this? Diego Pavia came out. He's talking about winning the national championship and stuff. Let me say this. Vanderbilt is a team that I think is going to be giving a lot of teams problems. Say that. Their win total is 4.5. Give me the over. I'm actually a big believer in Vanderbilt. I love their coaching over there. I think them getting Jerry Kill coming over with Pavia as well. The Jerry Kill effect, I think, is real. This is a team that can be an Achilles heel for a lot of teams. I don't know about national championship or playoff, but I think certainly give a lot of teams in the SEC problems. How do you feel about Pavia and Vandy?
I love Pavia. I love his game, and he's a skilled player. I don't believe he says he's 5'11". I don't believe it, but anyway, nonetheless, he's a heck of a competitor.
Yeah,
and Clark Lee is impressive. He's an impressive coach, but they don't have enough bullets. They just don't. They are, in the end, they are Vanderbilt, and 7-6 was respectable last year. They're like my mother used to say about me and eating food. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach sometimes. I just don't think that Vanderbilt's ready to compete with the big boys at this point. I think they'll win some games. I think they'll play well, but they're an injury or two away from just being wiped out. So I wish you the best. I think it's a nice story, and but I just can't pull the trigger on Vanderbilt.
I respect that. I 100% respect that. And I mean, it's tough to win at Vanderbilt. It's tough to recruit at Vanderbilt. It's tough to get into Vanderbilt as a football player. And I mean, I can only imagine trying to get transfers in and all that. It's difficult. It's a really, really tough school to get into. It's kind of like Cal Berkeley and other prominent schools across the country. But interesting. I'm higher on Vanderbilt. I don't think they're going to be a premier team. I just think they're going to really give teams a lot of problems. I think they can probably get to 6 or 7 wins potentially. I mean, when I saw their win total as 4.5, I'm like, that's a well-coached team that I was pretty high on last season. I think it's a little low.
4.5, maybe. I got to look at the schedule again. This is the time we start drilling down on schedules.
Yeah.
See, when those games fall, it's not just who they play; it's when they play them.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we'll see. And you want to be strong at the end of the season for sure. Playing for those playoff spots this year. We'll see how that turns out. But I love Vanderbilt. I'm glad they're in the conference, but you got to go up against these guys. It's like when you're a boxer. If you got to go out and fight one of the top-ranked guys every month, after about 6 months, you got your brains beat in. You just can't keep taking that. And when you play in the SEC, if you play these big boy teams a lot, you get beat up. And in the end, you have to be the duration lasts. It matters. And your bodies get physically beat up. And that's the difference in the SEC. There are no off days. There are no days when you take a powder and say, I'm not going to put my best foot forward today, because anybody, I know it's a cliche, and Long Island might be an exception. Anybody can be anybody in the SEC, and you just don't have it. You can't catch your breath. You have to be careful. Every game is potential L.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right about that. Well said. And especially, I think what you said rings true in today's era of college football, where, money talks, and also like, it's just going to be, I really think going forward, I really respect what Clark Lee and, his coaching staff has done at Vanderbilt. 10 years from now, it's tough for me to see a school like Vanderbilt competing with Florida and Georgia and teams that could spend, and also, tough to get into Vanderbilt, my whole point. But buddy, I appreciate you joining my show. I appreciate your perspective on the Florida Gators. Love getting your preview on the Gators, getting your perspective on SEC quarterbacks. I'd love to have you back on again, and I hope you have a great Tuesday, my man. Thank you.
We'll do it. And are the mountains still in the west? I guess they're out there in Colorado, right?
I'm in Tennessee right now. I'm in Knoxville here. But yes, sir, it's nice out here. It's hot. I'll say that. Definitely. But
thanks for having me on, Betty. Good luck to you, and call me anytime.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you for joining. Shout out to Buddy Martin, the main man, for joining the show. Buddy's the owner, editor, and publisher of Gatorbait Media and host of the Buddy Martin Show. So go over, check him out. He's the main man. He got a lot of perspective and insight. I loved him joining the show, getting his perspective on the Gators. I respect it. DJ Lagway is somebody who I'm really high on. I really think it's up to Billy Napier. Let's see if Billy Napier can do, coach a good season. We heard it on JB's show this morning. Listen to him talk about it. He's not a believer in Billy Napier. I'm not as low on Billy Napier as JB is. I think there's a lot of potential for Florida. I just think they have a gauntlet of a schedule like Buddy and I just broke down. So get them having a pass the playoff is tough, but I don't know. I think the SEC as a conference could cannibalize itself, similar to the way the Big 12 did last year, where you see a lot of teams beating up on each other, so to speak. That's my prediction for the SEC, and that leaves a little window open for Florida. I will say that. Folks, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. We got a great second half of the show planned for you. Alcorn State, Coach Leroy Frederick joins the show, and we got a lot to talk about, including Mike Gundy. We're going to talk about Mike Gundy and Mike Gundy not electing to use the NIL or transfer portal until this offseason. But now Oklahoma has a top 30 transfer portal class. I have a message for all the Miami Hurricane fans in my comment section who said I shouldn't have mentioned how much money Carson Beck is being paid. Now reports have come out today of approximately how much Carson Beck is being paid. And all I really said was that it's a lot of money, and the Cane fans didn't like that. But it is a lot of money. I don't know about you, but 7 figures is a lot of money. Anyway, we'll be back after this brief commercial break on the other side with Alcorn State coach Leroy Frederick. If you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show, become a member or hit that donation button, hit that super chat button, and leave a donation. I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace. Development so far in the Browns offense, as well as Dylan Gabriel's development in the Browns offense, and what you've seen so far, boots on the ground in Cleveland. Your thoughts?
Okay, so from the first minute of rookie minicamp, when I saw Shador pick up a ball and throw it between drills, I've been impressed. And just talking to people, I think he's handled himself well inside the building. and they're impressed by what they saw. So I understand the angst, the anticipation. People want to see him, and he's a talented kid, right? He really is. So I think people should also understand that a fourth quarterback is never going to get a chance with the ones in June, right? Like it's just not how it works, right? So that being said, there's probably never been a situation like this, or at least not one to which I can personally relate, right? You have four guys who, have some claim at the job. You have a clear leader to me in Joe Flacco, who was drafted the year Shedeur was in kindergarten, right? Has done it all and seen it all in this league, and has played in this offense before. He's the only one that has played in this offense before, so he's the leader. So, as far as what we saw in the spring, most every day, and this is like 6 or 7 viewings, Bailey, I saw Shedeur throw it with confidence. We didn't see him against much rush. We didn't see him against many guys who are going to play in the NFL, frankly. We didn't see him for more than 3 or 4 snaps at a time. So if he does right and studies right and continues to master the offense and throw the way he's thrown, they're not going to be able to ignore him, and he is going to get more chances in the summer. But we're going to see how that goes. I feel like, and Kevin Stefanski kind of half acknowledged this without going into detail, I feel like some days we didn't see much of Joe Flacco because he is the known commodity, right? They know what he is, right? So you have Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has started 20-plus games in this league, some big games too. They feel like if he's at his best that he's a fit for this offense, and they feel like he's mobile enough to create when things break down. That probably gives him an edge on most of the other guys. Dillon Gabriel can create on the move. He is super accurate. He won them over in the process. Winning the interviews and winning on accuracy and command, and having come into 3 different situations in college in engineered and efficient offense. So I don't think Dillon Gabriel is big enough to play in the NFL. I've been flat out about that. But I will say this. The only 2 days that I thought Dillon Gabriel was impressive in the spring were the last 2 days. So does that mean he's catching on, right? And it just needed to click? It can mean that. But I'll answer whatever question you want. But I will say that outside of having a fairly strong feeling that Joe Flacco is going to start the opener in early September, I truly believe there are 100 ways this can go. And that means with who gets the reps in August and who's actually playing or on the team in November, because I don't know. And I think you can make a case for it going a number of different ways.
I understand. I don't know if it's fatigue, but I can't imagine as a Cleveland Browns reporter, because I just know from the Colorado fans, I mean, they're passionate. Like, they're passionate. They love this. I mean, I've never seen they have ESPN Cleveland putting out OTA stat sheets, and it's unbelievable, Zach. It's unbelievable to me. But I've shared the same sentiment to you the whole time. I thought Flacco was the presumed starter, the right guy to start for Cleveland. He just led you guys to a playoff appearance at least. I thought he's a great quarterback, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP as well. I mean, I thought he was great, to have in the room to mentor the younger quarterbacks as well. Now, I got to ask you, going into the season, do you expect the Browns to roster 4 quarterbacks?
I don't. I think it's in play, but I don't. Right? I think the scenario where they do is if they feel like that one or both of the rookies just aren't ready. Because 2 years ago, they got themselves in a situation. They were all in on DeSean Watson, right? And they had an opportunity late in training camp to trade Josh Dobbs, who we know has been around and has succeeded as a backup and is so smart, can learn an offense in a day.
Yeah.
And they chose to do that. Well, we didn't even get out of September. DeSean got hurt. Wasn't sure if he could play. Dorian Thompson got thrown out there, thrown to the Wolves, was not ready. So I do think that there's a situation where they feel like, hey, if we can't have these rookies slip away, if no real trade presents itself now, we know somebody's going to get hurt eventually. So we can hold on to those 4. So I do think it's realistic, but I don't think it's ideal. So I think it really comes down to, okay, does Dillon Gabriel go out and have an outstanding camp and show that he's ready to play, even if it's in a pinch, even if he's never going to be a starter? So then he could be the number 2. And then Shedeur can, however camp goes for him, can continue to grow and play on the scout team and get himself ready for down the road. I just think, Bailey, if whatever went on with Shedeur and whatever reasons, multiple, or the reasons that he dropped that far, I think if any team thought that he was ready to play in September, he would not have dropped nearly as far as he did. Right. And I think that that's a sentiment that's shared from some folks inside the building of just the thought of, hey, we really got something here, but let's not judge him on every throw in June and July, and let's not think that it has to be this September. Like, let's let him go through the ups and downs and learn and have a great day in camp and have an awful day in camp and then see, right? These are long seasons. And, man, that's why I look so damn old, because I've covered a lot of Browns games in December, right, where they've had no chance. So I think it's in the 25 years they've been back, I think it's 11 or 12 times that at least 3 quarterbacks have played. And in 3 of the last 4 years, 4 different starting quarterbacks have played for this team.
Wow, man. Now, I want to look on the positive side for Cleveland here. Expectations with Joe Flacco as week 1 starter. I think he can have some success. I think that leaves, that takes Shedeur Sanders or even Dylan Gabriel playing out of the picture. Now, in my head, it's really hard for me to see Cleveland rostering 4 quarterbacks. One thing that popped into my head, Derek Carr retiring. Kenny Pickett has the connection playing with Kellen Moore in Moore system in Philly. And, you mentioned that you think a rookie is more likely to, be shipped off potentially than a veteran?
No, if I said that, I didn't mean – I think both rookies will be on the team.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
But I think the situation where all 4 make it is where they're not sure the rookies are ready and where a trade does not materialize. Like New Orleans, that makes sense. If Philly would get in a jam, they could go back to Kenny Pickett in a day. He knows that offense, right? But I think – and the Browns tried this last year. On their initial 53-man roster on August 27th or whatever it was, they kept 4, and they didn't cut the 4th until the following week. So I think there's a scenario where they would keep 4 and let a trade scenario develop. So I could be totally wrong on this. But like I said, my feeling coming out of camp ending 2 weeks ago or whenever it was, is that it's really two-man competitions, right? It's Flacco versus Pickett for the starting job to be the starter from September until whenever, right? And then it's the rookies against each other and against just being a rookie in the grand scheme of things. So, eventually they have to decide who's that second active guy, who's 1 snap away, who can play, right? In an ideal world, that would reveal itself, right? And I think there is some chance that Shedeur goes out and plays so well in August that it's him. But I would have to say that. I'd have to see that to really believe that. And I think from any rookie, you have to see it, right? Even if these guys were both taken 50 spots ahead of where they were, how could you say that they're really going to ready or going to be ready, or that we're going to learn a ton from them playing against 3s and 4s on August 8th in Carolina?
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
So that's why I think it was so notable that right away they were doing competitive drills in rookie minicamp. They were adding these things because they really want every possible evaluation period. And then when those preseason games come and those joint practices really come, then they can feel like, hey, does this match what we've seen all together? Are the guys really showing in the meeting room that they're learning, that they're commanding the huddle and all of those things? Because that's what it's going to come down to, because whoever is number 2 has to operate like he's a snap away from having these guys jobs in their hands on September 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And well said, Zach, man. What's going on, folks? As we continue the show, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. There's a pinned comment at the top of the chat. Go ahead and become a member and join the BPM Army here as we get closer to the season. I got a beef to pick here with Miami fans. I'm waiting for Coach Fred to join here. We'll discuss that with him. But one thing that came out here, we've discussed Hugh Freeze's golfing habit here. I talked about this with Matt McChesney yesterday. Hugh Freeze responding to all the Auburn fans who are not happy with his golfing habit here. And I'll read the quote here. He says, everybody seems to like to talk about my golf game. I do love golf. I enjoy playing. But what people don't realize is, I assure you that I never missed a camp day or recruiting day. But if camp got over at 3 o'clock one day and Jill and I go out at 4:30, we absolutely might do that. And I'm not apologizing for that part of it. But my focus is 100% on getting Auburn in that win column this fall. I think the fact that he's commenting on this is even more funny. And, I don't know if glaring, if people put weight into this, but I think it's kind of funny, in my opinion, the fact that he's commenting on this. But I broke down Auburn's schedule with Coach Fred, and I am concerned with them. I really think Hugh Freeze is under a lot of pressure. Coach Venables in Oklahoma is under a lot of pressure. And Lincoln Riley, I probably have to say those three coaches are under the most pressure going into 2025. Now, speaking of Auburn, their starting quarterback coming over from Coach Venables in Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold, put out an interesting quote here comparing the Iron Bowl to the Red River rivalry and revealing Auburn bans red from the facility. This doesn't really surprise me, but he says, I think the people here cannot stand Alabama. It's unbelievable. OU, Texas is very similar, though. It's not far off. I feel like those are probably the two best rivalries in college football. But if you mention Alabama here, they'll look at you funny. We even have a rule you can't wear red in our facility at all. If you do, you lose points and have to do up downs and stuff. Yeah, this is pretty traditional rivalries in college football. I mean, if you ever watch 0 to 60 with Matt and I mean, he's talked about it. Colorado don't fuck with red at all. You can't wear red anywhere. Matt even went at Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr. coming out with a red shoe, and he doesn't want him to wear it anywhere on the facility or on campus in Boulder at all. But this is pretty typical. Now, I will say, I really hope I'm on the positive side. I hope Jackson Arnold and Auburn figure it out. Now, I've broken out their schedule. The news or noise about Hugh Freeze in the golf game is a little concerning. It's one thing if they're a 10-win program. I don't exactly think losing to Diego Pavia a third time at home is the best look for Hugh Freeze. I'm going to say that. Now, going into year 3, give them credit. We'll see. They've spent a lot of money. I think they're in top 10 in spending and in the transfer portal and recruiting. Now, it's got to come together because if they don't win 7 or 8 games, Hugh Freeze is probably gone, and that's that. And I mean, on JB's show, we've broken down several former players going at Hugh Freeze. I mean, even going back to his Ole Miss day. So it's just, I don't know. We'll see what Auburn. I'll get Coach Fred's take on that, but it's interesting. Jackson Arnold coming out and comparing the Iron Bowl to the Red River rivalry. I don't know. It's interesting why you compare it to that after you leave Oklahoma. I mean, I get it, but it's a rivalry, bro. I mean, it ain't nothing different. Washington State still play the Apple Cup, and I mean, it's rivalry. Colorado, Nebraska, it's the same thing. I mean, it is what it is. But interesting comments from there. Folks, if you're watching, hit that like button, subscribe, become a member. Our special guest of the hour is here. Let's go ahead and bring in our main man. I know he's busy doing his thing, media days, and I know he's busy, so we won't take too much of his time. But our main man, Alcorn State coach Leroy Frederick, joins the show. Coach Fred, we got you. How you doing? We can't hear you.
What about me?
We hear you a little bit. Keep talking.
What about me?
You're a little muffled, Coach Fred. It might be the headphones.
You know what? I'll come right back in.
Okay, sounds good. It's Coach Fred. We're gonna figure it out. With Coach Fred, technology always fun, but we're gonna bring in Coach Fred. I got a lot to ask Coach Fred in this second half of the show here. So hit that like button if you're watching. I appreciate you all tuning in here on this fine Tuesday. We're gonna have a very special guest for Thursday as well, and potentially we might be live tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for that. As always, at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Mason Crosby, Super Bowl champion kicker, joins Matt McChesney and I on Thursday over at 0 to 60. So you're gonna have to stay tuned for that over on Thursday. That's gonna be a great show with Mason Crosby, longtime Packers kicker, Colorado alum, and great kicker. Let's try this again. See if we got him. Our main man, Coach Fred. What up?
What up, B? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. It's a little quiet, but we got you. How's it going?
Good. Let me see if I can turn this off. How was that? Is that better?
It's a little quiet. It might be the headphones. I don't know. Sometimes when you use headphones like that, it's a little muffled on audio. But it's all good. How's it going? You're at media days right now, doing your thing.
Yeah, we kick off today and everything wraps up tomorrow. But yep, here in Birmingham, where the conference media day is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And get on the road. Let me ask you, the Jets just made Sauce Gardner highest paid corner in NFL history. How do you feel about that? Your reaction to it?
I like it, man. Sauce is a ball player. I think they have to do something quick because that market is ever changing.
Right.
You know, how the free agency world's been going here lately. You better do it early or it's going to really cost you late. So, and Sauce has been playing ball. So I think the Jets made a pretty good move right there with that one, saving themselves some money in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Coach Fred, let me get into it. You're a Florida boy yourself, and let me ask you about this Teddy Bridgewater situation. Teddy Bridgewater was suspended from Miami Northwestern for providing impermissible benefits, is what they call it. Basic Uber rides, physical therapy, meals, etc. And he was working for Miami Northwestern on a volunteer basis. Which is typical on the typical side for some coaches, and I really respect what he did. And I think Miami Northwestern maybe not making the right move here, Coach Fred. But what are your thoughts on Miami Northwestern suspending Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't like it. I don't like it, Bailey. When we're talking about the world of sports right now, what Teddy's doing, what he did supposedly, I guess that's a drop in the bucket, man, to what's really going on. I made a post about it as well yesterday. In the state of Florida, baby, I don't know if you know or not, but in the state of Florida, it's open seating. You can go anywhere you want to for high school, and it doesn't have to be a deal of where you change your residence or anything like that. They doing
right.
Yeah. If Bailey's High School says they have seats and I can get there, I can go there. It doesn't matter where, public school wise. So, you can go anywhere in the city of Miami and play football. And then if you don't want to play basketball there, you go to another school and play basketball and be eligible in the same school year. So when you have those kind of rules and then you're trying to put the screws to somebody that's actually doing something that's helping you, I don't like it. The more reports I get out of it, the more I kind of talk to people down there in that area. Again, administration rears its ugly head in this situation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the high school association. This is Miami Northwestern inner circle that has come up with this suspension for Coach Bridgewater.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just think it's an unfortunate situation. I talked about it with Matt McChesney an hour ago. It's just I think people, well, one, fans, and two, definitely people in administration don't know what all that goes into coaching, especially head coaching and stuff like that. It's the little intangibles, little stuff like that. I mean, it's take care of the kids as well. Not always the best area and stuff. Got to take care of your kids as well. It's just they don't know that all that goes into it, and then when that happens, it's just unfortunate.
Right. Because their phones are, once they leave school, it's done. Half the time, an athletic director and a principal are gone before football practice is over. You know what I mean? And back in my day, Bailey, coaches couldn't leave until the last kid left. You know what I mean? Depending on when that last kid's ride came, there was a coach that had to stay there until he left. So that's not the principal, that's not the athletic director, that's the coach that is there to the very last minute to make sure that the kids leave safely with someone, whatever. And if you know anything about that area, it's changed, but it's still a rough area of Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Well, it sounds like Teddy's going to stay put, at least from right now, and stay with despite the suspension, just bear it out. From what it sounds like, he came out and said he ain't going nowhere. So it sounds like he's staying with them, and it's unfortunate administration does that to him, Coach. But man, Coach, sorry, go ahead.
His high school
Yeah, I just don't. How can you do that? I don't. It's really frustrating to see, in my opinion. Well, Coach Fred, let's move forward here. I know you're busy, media days and stuff like that. I already discussed Coach Freeze responding to all the Auburn fans mad about his golf game. I think we already broke down their schedule. I think Coach Freeze is under a lot of pressure. But let's talk Coach Prime a little bit. We reacted to Coach Prime's appearance at Big 12 Media Days and his press conference. Now, the head coach of Delaware State, DeSean Jackson, went out to Texas and visited Coach Prime, and they were fishing together and stuff like that out in Dallas, Texas with Coach Prime, Coach Jackson as well. And Coach Jackson talked about meeting Coach Prime. And take a listen to this clip, Coach Fred.
When you first meet Coach Prime?
Man, I met Coach Prime, I want to say early in my career. He was doing the NFL Network stuff, and I can't remember exactly how it was or where it was, but it was nothing but respect. Obviously growing up, looking up to Prime, jewelry, money, fashion, everything, so I could just remember wanting to be like him and replicate my game after him as a young kid. But when I first really had a conversation with him, it was like, he showed me the utmost respect and love, and, just telling me how he loved my game and just how to basically keep being a dog. So that was like my first encounter with him.
Coach Fred, your reaction to, I'm going to call him Coach Jackson's comments there, and then your expectation for Coach Jackson's first season as the head coach of Delaware State, coming from you, HBCU coach yourself. Go ahead.
Coach Jackson's got a long road ahead of him. Now he can get it. Can he get it done? Yeah, but he's gonna fall into that same thing with Coach Prime. Different location. This is completely different from when Coach Prime was at Jackson. We're talking about Delaware to down south. Completely different situation. Completely different weather. So he's got a real uphill battle. And I couldn't really hear all of that, what was going on with Coach Prime, but I know the health situation. I know someone close to him. He's on the up with that. So that's a continuous thing moving forward. When playing for his good health to come back. It's gonna be tough summer as they're winding down, getting ready for camp. So that's gonna be something to keep an eye on, just because of the particular thing that he has going on. Just to see how much he's going to be around, how much indoor work they do, Bailey, compared to outdoor. I don't know how hot it actually gets there in Boulder. So that might be a positive as well. But Coach Jackson's got a long road ahead of him. He's got a lot of wins to make up to get to a bowl game, so to speak, to get to a division, a conference championship. He's got a long road. He can do it, but I don't know if his name's going to magnify up in Delaware the way that Coach Prime's name magnified down here in this conference in Jackson. As far as being able to get the pieces in year one's not going to happen. Year one's not going to happen. But in year 2, year 3, year 4, I don't know if his name's going to be strong enough to draw that to Delaware.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something to think about in his future. And I mean, obviously he's turning around that program. I think they had 2 wins in 2 seasons or something like that. It's
crazy like that.
Yeah, it's been a really, really tough go for Delaware State in recent time, Coach. But Coach Prime, in this, just Coach Prime and DeSean Jackson spending time together. Coach Prime asked DeSean Jackson about coaching kind of kids and his perspective on it, and I wanted to show that as well, Coach Fred. Take a listen to this here.
Kids, when you look in the eyes of those kids when you're coaching them, man, what do you see?
When I look at in the eyes of the kids when I'm coaching them, I see kids that are hungry. I see kids that are scared to fail. I see kids that are not confident in themselves. And it goes back to the generational curse thing where, not enough young men are raised properly. And some of these dudes don't have dads around them. Some of them have mothers, or some of them don't even have parents. They're raised by their uncles or grandmas and stuff. So I see a lot of pain. I see a lot of trauma. But I see a lot of guys that really don't know right from wrong too. They thinking they're doing the right thing, and it's just a little bit of coaching, a little bit of things I went through, the things I fought in my life. Like if I go through this brick wall right here, you're gonna get hurt. So it's just really preparing them because I've done everything they want to do. So just really giving them the love that they probably didn't have growing up, and giving them the care, and let them know, look, I did this at a high level. You potentially could do it, but it may not be the realistic of your situation. But if I could give you the game, like I said, it ain't even got nothing to do with football. If I could give you the game of life, man, and you take it on, and you graduate, you walk across that stage, man. I mean, I feel like I've done my job.
Game of life, Coach. Game of life. Your perspective, reaction to his comments, though. What are your thoughts?
That's it. I like how he ended that. Because that's what it is. We've been fortunate here at this program the last couple of years to be able to get kids onto NFL rosters, onto USFL rosters. But we all know that that's not the reality of it. We had teams of 105 kids, and you're talking about 1 out of 105 for the last couple of years. So you take that and you take every program in this conference, which is 12. So you're talking about 1,200 kids, and the odds aren't really great for that. Yeah. But the last part of this conversation, I think is what, if he's truly got that, I think he's truly got something good going there. If that's the end all be all of what he's really trying to push and get done, which is get those kids graduated and get those kids on the right track for the game of life.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, the game of life. Like he said, if he takes care of that, I respect it 100%, Coach Fred.
No doubt.
Coach Fred, I previewed Miami last week with managing editor of Kane Sport, Matt Shadell, and when I brought him on, one of the first things I said about Carson Beck is they brought him down from Georgia to Miami, and they gave him a lot of money. And Miami Hurricane fans in my comment section the whole weekend and coming at me on Twitter, you shouldn't have said that. You don't know what he pays. Stop pocket watching. Ooh. And then a story comes out today. I didn't even say that they paid him $4 million or whatever the hell. Then a story comes out today that his deal this year is up to $6 million or something. Is that not a lot of money? Like, am I tripping? Like,
Last time I checked, $6 million was a whole lot of money. And it was known when he first went there, and that's what was said.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Everybody stop attacking Bailey, man. Bailey's only reporting the facts. You know what I'm saying? $6 million, and his girlfriend is a star volleyball player there.
I don't think they're dating no more, but yeah, it's a basketball. He was dating one of the Cavender twins who plays basketball. They play basketball.
So the $6 million plus her. Yeah, that was known from the beginning. So stop attacking Bailey because he's reporting the truth, man.
I don't know. I don't know what they're coming at me for. That's a lot of money to me. If that's not a lot of money to y'all, man, shit, good for y'all, bro.
Well, give it to me. Well,
$6 million.
$6 million. If that's not a lot of money to y'all, help me find $6 million.
Yeah, that was my point. Like, damn, guess that ain't nothing to y'all. Anyway,
it's not pocket watching if they're posting it.
Yeah, like exactly, and then like.
So let me ask you this, baby. Do you not feel that posting, and I'll use him because that's what we're talking about. Do you not feel that posting these kids total NIL deal? Do you not think that makes them targets even more so?
Oh, 100%. If they're going like targets, not like. It's hard to define that. Like targets where they are. Like if let's say a kid in Knoxville going to Tennessee gets like a massive NIL deal and is posted. Fuck yeah! If he's in Knoxville, he's a target. Like people are gonna know. Like if it's public and it's like known like this, yeah, he's a target. So he's gonna. I mean, he'll have to move as such. Like you can't move like that. Like you got to stay low key and.
Thing, him in Miami, home of the scammers. I don't know if he's going to be able to move down in Miami as a college student. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he already got what? They already had the Lamborghini stolen. Remember? Like that's just, it's tough, bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just so much going on with it, man. So much more that I think a lot of people just didn't think about. And I always wonder what the perception, because to me that just makes him a huge freaking target. That makes, like you said, anybody in Knoxville, that makes him a huge freaking target.
Yeah.
You know, the kid at Texas a couple years ago, the running back for the Falcons. He got that car deal. I just thought that made him a huge freaking target.
Yeah.
You know?
DeSean, yeah.
Yeah. But again, you know, as my boy JB would say, what do I know?
Oh man, Coach. As we get out of here on this fine Tuesday, how do you feel about DJ Lagway and the Gators? I had Buddy Martin join the show earlier. We previewed the Gators season in 2025. I think DJ Lagway has the potential to become the best quarterback in the SEC, depending on. I mean, I think Arch Manning solidified top dog. I mean, it's pretty hard for me to see him falling out unless they just, lay an egg this season. I think Arch sitting and developing, I really think it's going to do wonders for him. So I think he's going to live up. I get a lot of people are kind of, have the fatigue of, him in the media, but I think he's the real deal. Now, Lagway, I think like Lenora Sellers has the potential to be really, really good in the SEC, probably, top 3 or top 5. How do you feel about Lagway and the Gators going into 2025?
I think with them, there's two things we need to pay attention to with the Gators. One, will they leave him alone and just let him be QB1? Or are they going to kind of go back to this? If he starts to slip a little bit, bring in the next guy for a series or two. They're going to try to run this 2-quarterback system, which he kind of came in. And then 2, can he stay healthy and lead them in those tough ball games at LSU?
Right.
And they always have a tough game every other year, so to speak, with Kentucky. Is he going to be available at 100% to lead them for those type of games? And will they leave him alone? That's the 2 things that I think they've got to answer about their kid, Lagway. And if they can answer those with positive answers, man, I think Florida might be the dark horse to kind of sneak in that thing.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule, Coach Fred. I broke it down with Buddy earlier, and it's just they got to go LSU and Miami, and then Texas and Texas A&M. Like they got a tough stretch, and that's like in their first 6 games, Coach. Like that's just they got a tough stretch here. But I'll tell you what, if Lagway can go, and because I don't think I'll say this, I don't think LSU. I'm not high on LSU or Miami, so I think Lagway can walk in there and like if. God, they can get 2 out of 4, like Buddy said. Like, I think that's pretty good. Like 7 or 8 wins is my ceiling for them.
Yeah, Brian Kelly's got a lot to prove too. And I know we're not talking about them, but yeah, he's got a lot to prove too. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they fare and match up leading into the start of the season.
Yeah, 100%. He got a lot of proof for sure. Coach, I know you're busy. I know you're on media days. I'll let you go do your thing, Coach. All those watching, go check out Coach Fred on the Common Man podcast every Wednesday. I think I saw you last night maybe doing something, talking about Teddy Bridgewater. Go check out Coach Fred over at the Common Man podcast. Go check him out. And, Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining. I appreciate you joining.
Thank you, baby, man. I appreciate it. Hey, get off my boy Bailey. He's on stating facts.
Exactly. Miami fans got to chill out. Coach Fred, I'll holler at you offline. I thank you for joining. I hope you have a great Tuesday, my man.
Thank you, B. Appreciate it, man. And sorry about the delay.
No, it's all good. I'll talk to you soon. Shout out to Alcorn State assistant head coach, Coach Leroy Frederick, for joining the show over at SWAC Media Days. I appreciate him joining. I know he's busy doing his thing over at Media Days. Man, what a great show here on this fine Tuesday, folks. If you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. At the beginning of the show, we had Buddy Martin join the show, talking all things Florida Gators. He's pretty high on the Gators for the most part here, and I really like what he had to say. I think he had a really great perspective. Also have Coach Fred joining the show. Love having Coach Fred join the show weekly. He's the man. I appreciate him joining. Oh, shit. No, I ain't doing that. Oh, man. Mike, tune in to JB's show tomorrow. There'll be plenty of that and so much more. I might add I have another idea for another funny one, another funny sound effect tomorrow, Mike. So stay tuned tomorrow. It might be for JB tomorrow. I don't know how much he'll like it, but I think Smitty will laugh. So tune in to the Coach JB show tomorrow morning. I might be live tomorrow. I got some other college football news I got to talk about tomorrow. But folks, great show today. Hit that like button, subscribe, become a member. Appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate all the support. This is the premier show for college football and NFL coverage And, man, I can't wait for the season. We are almost less than a month away from college football. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys potentially on tomorrow, but definitely Thursday. Hit that like button, subscribe, become a member, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.